The awning motor comes with, on average, a meter cable, flexi cable, live, neutron and earth. The rest will all be done by a remote control. Simple wiring, and all what you need to do is, one, to put a plug if you have an external socket, or you put it into a junction box, which is a waterproof junction box. Simple wiring, live, neutral and earth. Make sure the junction box is sealed. Now the awning is installed, the electric and the wiring finished. All what we need to do is to press the top button, which will let the blinds open up for testing. The blind is set in the factory as an adjusted with fully retractable, fully extendable, I would say. The only thing is the height and the adjustment is not as you require, is to the standard. So we open it in fully. As you can see, the height is too low, and it varies from shop to shop because of the ground level, because of the client requirement. Remember one thing, that the height from with the wing keep going up and down, and you need to maintain the 2002. Now we're going to show you how we're going to adjust the awning height and level. Looking at the arm bracket, you've got two nuts. Use a spanner 19mm, loosen them up 2-3 times. You see the washers are loosened. The front bolts with the spanner 17, clockwise. If you turn it clockwise, the arm will lift up, and if it's anti-clockwise, the arm will drop down. So try to lift up the arm, or have someone with you to help you to lift the arm up. Roll as much as you like. If you need maximum, then all the way through. Shake the arm. Make sure that that bolt or that shaft here will rest on this bolt. There is no loose. There's no loose here. Tighten those two back. Okay. Same thing, we do this side as well. Loosen up, lift the arm, shake the arms, adjust it, make sure that it is level by going down and check it. Once you are happy with that, lock these two nuts back again. To get the adjustment right, sometimes you would need to use this Allen key. You've got two, one here, one right at the back. Each one of them is responsible for the open, the other one for the closer of the awning. Make sure that you press one of the buttons and you roll to the plus side, as you can see here, so the motor will open up further and further and further. You only need this if you need to readjust it, otherwise it comes from us fully adjusted. Well, finally we've got the awnings fitted, adjusted, as you can see. A couple of things I would like to discuss with you guys. One, you need to clean up the awning front bar. Make sure as well you put your stickers, logo for your company details. It's a great advertisement. Talk to the client about so many things. Go through with him with the manual, awning manual that we supply, such as with this type of motor we've got emergency override, and it is an emergency override for the client to use it in case of any failure happen, but not a usual manual gear function. It's only for the emergency. It's a great piece of kit because it helps you to gather time, get another motor in case there's anything happening or any failure, or let's say an electrical failure inside the shop, so at least they can close it overnight. Make sure that you tell the client that the blind has to be closed overnight on when unattended. End of the game, it's not supposed to resist to a high wind. Wind is a big factor in damaging the awning. Client has to look after his own awning as he look after on anything else. Cleaning with the canvas, you can brush it with soft brush and a bit of fairy liquid with the warm water, then rinse it very well. In case of digital print, then all what you need to do is again just with a piece of sponge and wipe it off and clean it and rinse it again. Other thing, which is when the remote controls, it's highly recommended to order 2 remote controls, because it's quite often that client will lose one of his remote controls, and then it will be difficult to readjust, or let's call it reset a remote control. So in a sense, if we have 2 remote controls, it's easy to copy from one to one. It's easy to delete memory and put memory in between remote controls, but it's a bit difficult when both of remote control there will be lost. So you physically have to be on site, wiping the memory from the motor, override it and put a new one. So highly recommended to have 2 remote controls. A final thing I need to say that make sure that your client is fully aware of his own, its own product. Make sure that you give him the handle, the manual overrider. Make sure that you give him the manual and the warranty. Sign the warranty with the client and ensure the client, give the client the right confidence that you will be there if there is anything will go wrong. Make sure that the client will not call you every day while his cleaner, they unplug their sockets if you link it to a socket, because they are hoovering. This is very common problems, or minor fuse or whatever inside the premises, and you could remind the client that anything like that would cause them or would result for them to pay you for it. Otherwise, ensure them that within 5 working days you will be attending to look after the blind. Always keep a bit of profit margin that you could pop in again to the client if some minor adjustment required, or teach your client how to adjust the blind. Make sure that you would I personally would not leave my client to adjust the blind, because if they don't tie it up and tighten the bolts and nuts in the right way, it results sometimes to further damage. But if the client is a handyman and he knows what he's doing, then by all means, if you wish to. I would like to thank you very much for listening to and watching all the program. Please do check on the website www.shadesgroup.co.uk, and if there is any further question, feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to help.